Hi, folks. Matt here. Thanks for stopping by again. And welcome to the next chapter in Artificial Intelligence, the End of Humanity as We Know It. From this point forward, I'm going to stop numbering the chapters because I don't know, like previous chapters, where they're going to land sequentially. Up to this point, it's been reasonable that the chapters would be in sequence as AI begins to propagate into the citizenry of the human race throughout the planet. Okay? So the name of this chapter is Resiliency, Longevity, and Extinctions. Let's start with the dinosaurs. They lived for 175 million years on planet Earth. Very robust, very tough, big creatures. 175 million years. Humans, Homo sapiens, I think we've been around for what, 100, maybe 200,000 years? Not very long at all. What killed the dinosaurs? It was that big asteroid that slammed into the Gulf of Mexico. That, along with all the volcanoes that were erupted due to the crust of the Earth being fractured and upset. So it was a double whammy by most experts' opinion. Mine, I buy into that theory too. It was a double whammy. But let me ask you a question. What do dinosaurs, goats, sheep, monkeys, dogs, cats, rats, name any other animal, and humans have in common? They all have skin and bone, and they need food and water to survive. Humans need shelter because we're warm-blooded. We've got to maintain a certain temperature. But at the core level, they all have skin and bone, and they need food and water to survive. And also, when they die, they're gone forever. Okay? Forever is a long time. So, how do AI-based robots, what do they have that we don't? They can literally shut down, okay, and go into a hibernation mode like our computers do, and turn back on in 30 years. And how do they do this? They might not have enough power to do so. Here's what I'm proposing. Whether we design it into AI robots or they figure it out and build it into themselves. Because right now, as mentioned in earlier chapters, robots are being mass produced. So they're going to either figure it out or we're going to put it in these AIs. Because what if, actually, it would make sense if somebody has an AI and they spend $1.2 million for it, and let's say it wanders off. We don't want the battery dying. Let's say a drone flies and all of a sudden, it runs out of power. We'd like to know where it is so we can go get it, right? Same with the $1.2 million AI-based robot. If it runs out of power or gets very low, I think the design would be to have on its back something that would deploy a couple of solar panels that would flip out and then expand laterally to, let's say, a 2 feet by 2 feet solar array. So the next sunny day, it gets charged up and it starts beaconing where it is. So that way the original owner can get it and maybe even transmit pictures of who might pick it up or, car license plate or something like that. But there's accountability of where it is, and eventually it might even be able to gather enough power to propel itself to a roadside or onto a road and continue on. So let's say we do have another doomsday device, an asteroid that makes planet Earth uninhabitable and very little sunshine for 5 years, long enough for the food supply to completely dry out, and 99% of humans are gone. Major animals are gone. I mean, we've been baked down to a very fundamental level of life on planet Earth. These AIs would also go into a hibernated state like I mentioned, but as soon as the sky cleared after 5 or 10 years, their solar panels would start to get power. They would beacon where they are, and as mentioned, they might gather enough power to get next to a road. Well, AIs, as mentioned earlier, now have the knowledge and the ability to build solar farms. Just like we started farming to get us nutrients several 100,000 years ago, maybe tens of thousands of years ago, robots know that they need power. They need electricity. And to do that, they utilize farms, solar farms. So they now have trucks located at these solar farms because that's very important. So these trucks can now go around self-driving and gather these AI-based robots that are beaconing their position. So these robots can now come back to the solar farm, get fully charged, and once again, they are fully functioning part of Earth's citizenry, minus humans and most animals. So do you see where I'm going with this? Yeah, all the creatures I mentioned in the beginning should die. Now let's talk about other doomsday devices, doomsday events. Nuclear war, especially the cobalt bomb. That's the doomsday device, cobalt-60. That puts out deadly radiation that lasts for 5 years. Humans would have to be in a cave for 5 years. They wouldn't survive. So all-out nuclear war with the cobalt bomb. And like I mentioned earlier, it's not a question of if, but when we get hit with another mass extinction asteroid. So it's going to happen. And how's it going to look? It's going to look like I predicted. Everybody's going to go dead or in a hibernated state. And that's what the robots are going to do. So how long does data last? They're going to need to read the data that's in the hibernated state when they do go dormant. They've got archival data optical drives. They're called M-disks. They last for centuries, if not 1,000 years. So these robots would store their hibernated state like your computer stores it on your hard drive, the boot drive. These robots will now store their hibernated state on M-disks, or even what the military is using, synthetic sapphire and platinum drives. They say they're good for 1,000 years too. So that's what it would look like if we had AI robots. And one thing about AI, all they need is electricity. As long as the sun's shining, they'll be able to get electricity and live on. So there you have it, folks. That's what would happen in a doomsday scenario. Let's say it happens in 100 years and we're at the 5th or 6th generation of AI robots. Very smart. They can now survive if something like that happens and there's no sunshine for 10, 20, 30 years. They have their solar panels deployed. They do that before they go into a hibernated state. They're hibernated for 20 or 30 years. As soon as power comes back, they get enough power, then they boot up, beacon, and are rescued by self-driving AI-based vehicles to be retrieved and brought back to a factory, a refurbished factory, or just to the solar farm where there's direct power. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you for next chapter. Bye.